Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you some really cool Jimi Hendrix style rhythm fills. Now the great thing about this, the way we're going to learn it is, you're not only going to know it to do it in one place on one chord, you're going to be able to move this over the entire fretboard and you're going to be able to play it for a variety of songs, okay? So it's not just learning one lick and that's it. This is something and a technique or a hack if you like that you can use over the entire fretboard for loads of different songs. So Jimi Hendrix then, arguably the most influential guitarist of all time. So I'm going to show you in this lesson how to do his sort of style rhythm playing. If you haven't done it already, make sure that you subscribe and like this video just so you don't miss any updates. Right then, let's just get stuck right into this. So this entire idea of these rhythm fills, this is the sort of thing you can hear in songs such as Little Wing, Axis Bold as Love, etc, etc by Hendrix. And it's all going to be based off this particular video off our A root or A shape bar chord. So whether you play it like that with your third finger or like that with your little finger, it doesn't matter. So that's going to be the chord what we're going to use as the foundation for that lick. So what we're going to do then, let's find a C. So with C, first finger should be in the 3rd fret. And now to get this Hendrix sort of idea, which sounds like this. That very, very Hendrixy sound, all we need to do is take that chord and we're going to put our first finger where our 3rd finger is. So we're going to replace this 3rd finger bar with our first fingers or index finger like this. Okay? So all I've done there is just simply move my first finger to the 5th fret and stuck it where my 3rd finger was. So I'm playing a bar in the 5th fret across the D, the G and the B strings. Okay, and that's part number 1. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take our 3rd finger and we're going to put it in the 7th fret on the A string, okay? So you've got 7th fret on the A string with your 3rd finger, and then a bar across the 5th on the D, the G and the B with your first finger, so you end up with this shape. Now that chord is known as C over E or C/E, and basically what that means is we have a C chord with an E as our lowest note. When we played it like this, we had a C as our lowest note, but when we do it like this, that is an E as our lowest note. So if you ever see in chord charts C/E, it's that chord. So that chord is known as C over E or C/E. So from there then, to introduce these fills, what we're going to do, we're just going to play major pentatonic things, the major pentatonic scale around that. Now if you're familiar with the cage system, that chord is straight out of our G shape, like this. Now that is an awkward shape to play as a bar chord, not one I tend to use a lot. However, I do know and I'm very aware that under that shape, that C over E chord or the C/E, there is a C major pentatonic. Okay, there's our C, there's our root note of the scale, and I'm just playing upper major pentatonic. Also the same thing as an A minor pentatonic. So if you only know an A minor pentatonic, a C major and an A minor pentatonic are the same thing. It's all to do with relative majors and minors, which I'm not going to go into in this video. But for now, if you're just wondering what is a major pentatonic, if you only know the minor, just play a minor pentatonic, they start on your little finger, and that gives you a major pentatonic. So there's C major pentatonic. Okay, so we have all of those notes. Obviously, if we're in a C chord, we can play all of those notes around the chord. So there was our C over E, our Hendrixy style. Now we have all of these notes right under our fingers, but mainly when we do these rhythm fills, we tend to play the A string, the D string, and the G string, but we don't play the entire bar. We just tend to play 2 strings at once, which are called double stops when you play 2 notes at once. So that is quite a common one. So what I'm doing there, I'm hammering on, I'm doing a little bar across the 5th fret on the A and the D, and I'm hammering on to the 7th fret on the A string. Okay, and that lick is written out in the PDF. If you want the PDF, click the link below and you'll get a copy of that. The next one we can do then is the same exact thing where we just hammer onto the D string. So there I'm playing a bar on the D string and the G string, and I'm just hammering on to the D string. Okay, so A string, D string, and you do exactly the same then by hammering on the 7th and the G string. So I'm fretting there the 5th fret on the D and the G, and I'm hammering on to the G string. Okay, same exact thing, just on different strings. So that's the great news about this kind of idea, is we're sort of playing the same thing just on different strings there. So that is the A, the D, and the G. So when I'm playing the A string, that's the hammering onto the 7th fret on the A string. I'm barring the A and the D. When I'm doing the D string hammer on, that one there, I'm going to bar the G string and the D string. And then when I do the G string hammer on, I'm going to bar the D string and the G string. Okay, so let me just show you a couple of licks or ideas. Now, there's nothing set in stone for this. There's a couple in the PDF workbook that you make sure you grab hold of. Click the link below and you'll get sent that. There's nothing sort of set in stone. We can very much improvise these ideas, this sort of thing. You know, I'm just kind of playing around with the idea. The same notes that I've showed you, I'm just jamming around playing different rhythms. But here are a few licks that you can have a go at. The first one simply would be where I'm hammering on from the 5th fret on the A to the 7th fret on the A with a little bar across the A and the D. You can also fret the G string if you want to, and even the B string on that one. Quite hard to get the B string, but you can if you want to, because as I've said, it's this chord, we're just replacing the bar. Okay, so that's one lick. There's also this kind of idea. Okay, where all I'm doing is a hammer on onto the A string, and then I'm doing a hammer on and a pull off on the D string, and then a hammer on onto the A to finish it. So the first one, the second one, okay, and both of those a little bit slower. So the first one again, and the second one, and one more time. Okay, so there's a couple of licks. Let's just do one more, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to play a song and show you how you can incorporate this sort of stuff. So here's another lick for you. Okay, really kind of Hendrixy sounding lick there. So I'm going to start off with a bar across the D and the G in the 5th fret, and I'm going to hammer on and pull off to the 7th on the G. Exactly the same thing. I'm not even going to move this time. I'm going to do the hammer on and a pull off on the 7th on the D. So far, it's like this. And then I'm going to finish with a hammer on to the 7th fret on the A string. So the entire thing sounds like this. Okay, so number 1, number 2, and number 3. Okay, they all sound great on their own, but how do they sound in songs? So obviously we have a C chord there. So let's take the Jimi Hendrix classic Hey Joe. The chords are C, G, D, and A. Okay, that's the kind of the verse part. So obviously on the C chord, the first one, we can do these licks. And then it goes to an E, but certainly on the C, we can put in some of these Hendrix style licks. Okay, now I did promise you at the beginning of this video, I'm going to show you how to use this all over the neck, so it's not just for one chord. So let's do that then before we move on a little bit further. And what I'll do then, I'll play it along with a backing track. So how can we do that? Well, we just take this idea where you swap this finger for this finger and play that chord. Okay, so remember, that finger is just doing this, and that's for C. Well, in the case of Hey Joe, we have a D which is up 2 frets, so we can do all of the same ideas just up 2 frets. So we'd get C, G, D. We can do the same thing, so I'm going to move this finger to where my bar was and do the licks. We can even do it when it goes to the E, because there's my E chord. So let me just play around that. Okay, and then all of a sudden we've got that very Hendrixy sounding thing by using literally the same thing. I'm just moving it up or down depending on what chord we're playing. So let me put on a backing track and I'll just jam some of that sort of stuff through so you can hear how it sounds in contrast with the drums and the bass. Okay, so you can see how those ideas we've looked at, or that one idea really, because all we're doing is replacing that bar, that third finger bar with our first finger, and you can see how you can move that all over the fretboard and incorporate it in lots of different songs. Okay, so that was a Jimi Hendrix style chord trick or chord hack that you can get into your playing right away. Make sure you like the video if you did like it and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all soon.